Ridiculous questions.
Meticulously debated.
This is Tell Me I'm Wrong.
Well, I was happy just last night. I've been losing sight. Citing all the falling fights. What is this if this ain't right? Back again, the monster rights. Losing life until that night. Life never let him lie. Light is my far past his way.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Tell Me I'm Wrong. I'm Ryan, and I'll be moderating this week.
Hey guys, it's Joe. I'll be the winning debater.
And I'm Josh, and I'll be the other debater.
I think Joe brings up a good point. This week's debate we actually picked specifically so that Joe cannot win.
Yeah,
because
Joe, me and Ryan kind of got together, and we were just trying to come up with kind of a topic that we knew you'd be really bad at, since you've kicked our ass at every other topic that we've done. So I'm feeling pretty good. I'm not going to say I'm an expert by any means, but I definitely know more about this week's topic than Joe does.
So, but let me ask you this question, boys. How bad is it going to be for you all when I still win?
Listen, if Joe ends up winning this debate after we have chosen this topic, then I think we may just have to call it. This might just be the last episode of the podcast.
Yeah, I don't think we can carry on if Joe wins anymore. Just period.
No,
because
I tell you what, we'll just keep the podcast. We'll just call it Joe's Never Wrong.
I don't support that.
I don't think I could be on that show. That would just be you.
Yeah, that's
honestly,
just you.
If that happens, you can just have the show, and me and Josh will go make our own.
Yeah, and you will. If you give Joe an open mic on his own show, he'll get canceled within a week, so we don't even have to worry about it.
So this week's topic was chosen by yours truly. I was a musical theater kid in high school, so we decided that we wanted to pick a topic that was specifically about musical theater, but we had to put our twist on it. So we decided, what do we think would be the worst movie adaptation to a Broadway show? And when we first brought this up, I was talking to Josh and Joe, and I was like, you know what? I used to be a theater kid, but it's been so long. Like, I haven't been in a musical in many years. So I was thinking, I bet I have somebody that we could bring on as a guest that would have some expert opinions that could really help us. And so this week we have a very special treat for you guys. We have Elliott Mattox from the Equity One podcast. He is a Broadway star, and we thought that we would just tap into his expert knowledge. What do you say, Elliott?
Well, superstar is where I am going to tell you you're wrong. Thanks for having me, boys. This is very exciting.
We are very excited to have you.
I'm excited to have any guest. I'm just tired of talking to these two.
True.
Understandably so, yeah.
It'll only get worse from here, Elliott.
So Elliott and I actually went to high school together and basically started our musical theater journeys at the same time. Good old Music Man with Winthrop.
Way before high school, that's like early middle school is when I first met Ryan.
And Elliott's now doing the damn thing on Broadway, and Ryan's on this podcast, so we see how everybody's career turned out.
We can see the two paths diverged long ago, and one went high and shot for the stars, and the other just petered out and went to school.
Well, it's hard to breathe among the stars up here. So, it's the air quality is probably better where you are. No, and you say doing the damn thing now. Well, not
actually
right now. But
nobody is doing the damn thing right now.
Exactly.
That's actually why we have this podcast.
So, I'm sitting at home much like everyone else, but usually, I'm doing Broadway shows, which is cool.
So we know that you actually have some Broadway experience. So what do you think about this topic? Do you have some apprehensions? How has this gone in the past?
Well, I think it's great. I mean, I'm no stranger to a movie musical. I've done my 2 Broadway shows that I've done have been movie musicals. And so I know what makes
So you are the foremost expert on this exact topic.
Well, I'm definitely able to shed some light on what works and what doesn't work from personal experience. But I will say, no matter how awful an idea you might think you have, I'm sure a producer is working on it right now.
If not, they will be after tonight.
Exactly. So I hope you all went to the copyright office before this podcast.
Shit. There's a copyright office?
Is that the thing? Can I just mail it to myself?
This is everything we say is all trademarked and intellectual property. If you take our ideas, we will sue you.
Work.
So I think what we need to do is we need to hear the movies that you guys have chosen, and we will get to see Elliott's reaction to your terrible choices. But you have to convince us which one is worse. So let's go to Joe first.
Okay, so we brought this topic up last week, and we decided this is what we're going to do. One movie it spoke to me. I probably mentioned it before. I'm a big fan of especially 90s action movie, like Terminator 2, Rambo: First Blood.
So bad sequels to good action movies.
Terminator 2 is better than Terminator 1. I'm sorry, Josh, you're wrong.
I've never seen it.
Well, that explains a lot. Sudden Death featuring Jean-Claude Van Damme. So,
instant classic.
It came to me, and I decided that I have to go with Hummingbird. I chose Con Air, starring Nicolas Cage, John Cusack, John Malkovich, Ving Rhames, all
the stars
of the 90s, not top
those big movie
action
stars.
dudes, but sort of.
I would probably call them C level.
Danny Trejo was in that movie. Steve Buscemi. Come on.
Now, don't be knocking Steve Buscemi.
Now, I'd imagine the only time that this show's going to be performed is at 3 p.m. on a Thursday at the TNT Theater, because this is classic cable TV movie.
It's Saturday night at 7 and 10.
Now, I have to admit, I've never seen the movie Con Air. But I did like what any good podcaster would do, and I just Googled it real quick, and it looks like it would be awful. And not the movie, maybe the movie, but definitely the musical.
No, it is awful.
And I think that it could make for some really inspired casting with all of those C-list stars there. So I'm really, really excited about that. Well,
it's funny you mention that, because Nick Cage is historically in a lot of bad movies, but I would dare say this is one of his best ones.
Yeah, he's a national treasure.
Face Off, that's a good one. This one's a good one. But it's funny you bring up the casting, because I've already thought of some casting choices with actors from today for Con Air.
I'm fascinated to see this.
We may have to wait
Broadway.
on that one. Because I want to build some suspense. Yeah, we gotta keep our professionalism
holding
going.
it back.
Yeah, we gotta peek and back off. All right, so Josh, let's hear your pick.
So when I was thinking about this, now I thought about some of the movie musicals I'd seen in the past or heard about in the past, listened to a little bit, and I started thinking of the ones that were good and the ones that were bad, what was kind of the dividing line? Now, one of the obvious examples is the Spider-Man musical where they tried to kill people. So
Yes.
I took that into consideration.
The famous flop.
But then you also think about some of the films that have been turned into wonderful musicals. Beetlejuice, for example. Mean Girls. I've only heard the music, haven't seen it to be honest, but enjoyable. Now, one way to make it horrible would be to find a movie that has absolutely no market for Broadway. And that was my initial thought. So I was thinking Ford versus Ferrari, because the only people that movie was made for 50-year-old men on an airplane.
Yeah.
I went to my parents' house last week and my dad said, I just watched Ford versus Ferrari. It was fantastic. And I said, I bet you thought that, because it was made for Bill Ballard. Now,
well, I was about to say the Academy Award winning Ford versus Ferrari, but in the categories that don't count.
Exactly.
Let's just point out he also criticized Terminator 2 Judgment Day, which took home I think almost every Oscar that year. But so yeah, obviously his account for taste is questionable at best.
Yeah, Arnold with his shelf of Oscars.
I don't want to be
Jim
lectured about
Cameron.
taste from someone who says Creed is good, but we'll move on.
I never said Creed was good. I put it on there because you hate it.
That's not why. We know you like it. Anyways, then I started moving on. I started thinking, well, okay, Ford vs. Ferrari would obviously not be great, but what about some other films like The Wolf of Wall Street or Transformers?
Wolf of Wall
See, I
Street
could
would
see
be
the Wolf
hot.
of Wall Street translating.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I was like, this wouldn't work. But then I thought, you know what? That's gonna win every Tony.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
You get a
fine.
breakout star in the Margot Robbie role. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah,
Absolutely.
What's a Tony?
Oh my gosh, this
Chill.
is where we are. This is where we are, Elliot.
Well,
Are you
all-
familiar with the Oscars?
You all forced me into this, so
Listen, we've cornered you. It's true. The Tony is the Oscar of the theater world.
okay.
He's gonna ask what an Oscar is next.
No, I'm good.
Now, eventually, after thinking through all those, I settled on a film that is beloved. And the reason I did that is because when something is beloved, I feel like, A, it's going to get a lot of money pumped into it, which is always a recipe for disaster. It also features some animatronics or some
Some heavy
live
CGI.
action set pieces. Well, not the Broadway version.
I thought you meant the movie. I'm sorry.
The movie does. Some moving set pieces that could be quite dangerous, a la Spider-Man. And so that film is Jurassic Park, the
Such a
1993
good pick.
Steven Spielberg classic.
It's also interesting that you both picked like early 90s movies.
It's very in vogue for Broadway shows to be movies from that era right now. You know, Beetlejuice being one of them.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So obviously it was a very popular film, so it's an instant market. B, I feel like, you know, with all the money that'd be pumped into it, you're going to get a lot of you're going to be able to attract some pretty good performers for the show. So, and I think the big thing here would be they'd try to get way too over the top with it. The set pieces, the design, the music would be complicated, which I'll get into a little bit later. And I just think that just like the theme park, the line between it being incredibly awesome and a complete disaster is so thin that I don't trust anybody to actually be able to pull it off.
Yeah, that the T-Rex chase is really where it's gonna come down to. Like, can you pull off a set piece that is like that? I think it's gonna come into factor.
It's going to be challenging and dangerous. Like I said, I can only imagine that, you know, something's going to go wrong and we end up with a kind of Spider-Man situation. We don't want that.
I think you both have some good recipes for disasters. So, have you guys thought about like some song titles or some big moments, some things that you can give us a little taste of what this terrible musical would be like?
I'll let Joe go.
Okay.
Since he looks so contemplated over there.
Yeah, so I thought of a couple song titles. The first one to me, the first big score of the movie takes place on Jailbird. That's the plane that the convicts overtake. And Cyrus Grissom, he's the leader of the convicts. He gives this impassionate speech about how they've taken over the plane. And I actually wrote a little verse from it.
Ooh, here we go.
It's kind of spoken word over music. You could sing it if you want. But ladies and gentlemen, I've got an announcement. We've taken the plane. I'm your new captain. Welcome to Con Air.
Nice. Dramatic.
Yep. And then
Beautiful.
I can see the imagery. Yes. That's going to build into a long dance break.
yes, and
I
then
feel like you're going to get the convicts dancing on the wing of the plane. You know, something really a huge stage production.
midway through, there's a fight between Billy Bedlam and Nick Cage's character, Cameron Poe. And Cameron is trying to get home from jail. He's being released today on parole, and he's never seen his baby. His daughter was born while he was incarcerated. So he buys a teddy bear from the commissary, and he's taking that home because you can't go home and see your daughter on her birthday without a gift.
Absolutely.
He tells Baby O that. And so he's taking this home, but Billy Bedlam goes down and finds his teddy bear, and has a very, very well-known put down that teddy bear. So I took the title of my song midway through, and it'll be sang as a competing style of singing between Billy Bedlam and Cameron Poe as they
confrontation.
A confrontation as they fight over the teddy bear in the underbelly of the plane. A lot of drums, a lot of heavy bass. Kind of similar to the first part of the chorus from "Thanks for the Memories" by Fall Out Boy. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Joe, I'm so proud.
Yeah.
That's an
Now,
excellent moment
song,
that you've built.
But I'm saving that, and it's kind of
Okay.
the theme of the movie.
All right.
Okay.
We got some good elements there. We got some high drama. This is giving me very Les Mis vibes, very like epic.
I have seen Les Mis multiple times and read the book. I love that movie, so I'm not completely inept.
No,
Con Air as Les Mis is quite the comparison. And before I move on, I think we just need to stop and acknowledge that Billy Bedlam is maybe the most badass character name of all time.
Yes.
Listen, I pulled up the IMDb page. There are some fantastic character names in this. There is Swamp Thing.
Yeah, he's the
Mike
pilot.
Odell.
That's Baby O.
Nathan Jones, which is played by Ving Rhames, who I personally love.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to get to, which is Dave Chappelle is in this movie.
Yes.
Which I have forgotten.
His name is Pinball, and he's like the funny voice mouth for piece for the convicts. He's my first person I've recast, actually.
Okay. And then the classic, Steve Buscemi, John Malkovich, Nick Cage.
Can we, before we go to your songs, I do want to say, can we talk about how of all the people in that cast, like somehow Steve Buscemi is the most timeless? Like that makes no sense.
Yes. Like literally.
Steve Buscemi, and then I'd say Dave Chappelle's after that.
Well,
of the two people you would remember from that movie.
I mean, you've got John Cusack, who's kind of fallen off a little bit. But yeah, I think you're right. I think Steve Buscemi has stood the test of time better than any person in Con Air.
He's the worst convict in the movie. They say he's worse than the Manson family.
Isn't he the dude that's like locked in the cage?
He's got like Hannibal Lecter. He's got like his chain. He's chained together and got like a mouthpiece on.
And we were dangerously close to having a Steve Buscemi double dip on this podcast because I almost went with Armageddon.
Oh my God.
Armageddon versus Con Air.
I'm going to need to bring Armageddon back up on this podcast because I have some feelings.
It's timeless film.
Elliott's return. We'll have to make sure we always bring up Steve Buscemi.
They came out within 6 months of each other too.
Yeah, and Armageddon would be completely scored. Would be completely scored by Aerosmith songs. And it'd be perfect.
And you have to cast Ben Affleck, right?
No one said that. No one said that.
Yeah.
You do have to cast Bruce Willis.
He's a Broadway. He's done Broadway. He actually.
I was gonna say he's actually can sing.
But he did star in Misery, the play adaptation of the Stephen King movie.
I love that movie.
And apparently he was.
That movie is terrifying.
Not the best part of that. But he starred opposite. He starred opposite Laurie Metcalf in the Kathy Bates role, who apparently was fantastic.
I would imagine she was.
Laurie Metcalf as Kathy. Oh my gosh, now I kind of want to find some YouTube videos of this. Yeah, that's okay. That's a rabbit hole.
Okay, Jurassic Park.
All right, Jurassic Park the musical.
So thinking about the music for this, I feel like this is where they were going to have the hardest time because the entire film.
You think music's going to be the hardest time on a movie based on bigger than life dinosaurs on Broadway?
Well, you'll hear why. So I think that they would initially think, this came out in the 90s. We need to capture the time, and they'd be exploring like a bunch of awful genres for the music. They'd be like, we should do a grunge version. We should do 90s hip hop. We need to like bring the times in, and they start workshopping all these songs, and they just all be absolute trash. And so then they're like, well, the John Williams score was just so beautiful. Maybe we just stick with something like that. Maybe a little more true, like traditional Broadway fare.
Very like 80s.
Yeah, exactly.
Cameron McIntosh vibes.
And so I think they're going to settle on that, which is probably the worst option because it doesn't entirely fit a movie about dinosaurs killing people. But that's beyond the point. Now, talking about actual songs, I think I think there's a few clear ones, and I'll save my favorite for later because it would just be so awful. But first, I think you need to have a nice opening number. Now, of course, it opens with Nedry getting the eggs, talking about dinosaur DNA. Now, I don't want to get too much into casting. I don't want to get too much into casting, but I think for the Nedry part that was played by, of course, Wayne Knight of Seinfeld fame. I mean, I think we got to call in the big gun. We got to bring in Josh Gad.
Oh my gosh.
Like, we have no choice but to do it.
We've been waiting for his triumphant return.
He was born for the role of Nedry in Jurassic Park. And so we're going to bring him back, and he's going to have a beautiful opening number called DINO DNA.
Okay.
And he's going to be singing all about setting up this whole film, talking about the whole process of what they're doing in Jurassic Park and how they're taking this DNA, they're breeding dinosaurs, and how it certainly could not go wrong. This is a perfectly great process. You know, he's going to sing all about that, and it's going to be a show-stopping number to start the show. The scene takes place in like this patio of a restaurant. I think everybody's getting up on the tables. There's a beautiful dance number, and it's just like, it opens the show with a bang.
High energy to start the show. Your classic opening number.
Absolutely. So then we're moving through our show here, and we get to the part where they finally enter Jurassic Park. And I can either do this, talk about this now, or we can save it. But I think the John Williams score still comes in, but they had the bright idea of adding lyrics to it.
Oh gosh, yeah, we gotta save the lyrics. We'll come back.
It can be good. And then the last, last one that I really thought about, because once you get past a certain point, it's just all pounding drums, intense dinosaur fights. But when they get to the sick dinosaur and they're taking care of it, and Ellie Sattler says that she needs to see its feces, and we get over to the dinosaur's feces, and we have Jeff Goldblum utter the famous line of, "That's a big old pile of shit."
Yep.
So classic. I absolutely need a song that's just like our guy in the Jeff Goldblum role that's like, "That's a big pile of shit." Just like show-stopping.
Some beautiful numbers to
gets a little jazzy. It really fits the moment. They're trying to, he's like talking about, you've got to dig your hand in there, like over the top.
And when you said person playing the Jeff Goldblum role, you did mean Jeff Goldblum, right?
Yeah, well, we would try our best to get him and hope we can score that. He was actually the only one of the original cast that I was like, I absolutely have to have him again.
Yeah, anybody else you can move on from.
So we'll see what we can do. But I really think that that's going to be the downfall of this whole show, is that they just couldn't figure out what to do with the music. So they picked the worst option, and we're stuck listening to Jeff Goldblum sing a jazzy number about a pile of shit.
Over John Williams.
And nobody wants that.
Also, they're going to waste a bunch of money on new John Williams like overture and new themes.
It's a lot of money to get that John Williams.
I was going to say, absolutely. They'll have the money with like you said, with the money coming in for the Jurassic Park the musical. But I think your choice on the music is gonna be pretty accurate there.
Well, between the cost of the music, the cost of the set, and the cost of this cast I've got lined out of just absolute superstars, we're already in the red big time.
Oh, yeah.
So the door for this has to be through the roof.
So I think you guys have missed the point. This was supposed to be pitching why these are going to be bad. So far, these just sound some amazing musicals.
They're doing well.
All right, I think that we have really set ourselves up for a great final closing argument. But as always, we need to go to the moderator's office and see if we have any bills to pay. So, Josh, seems like you've been pretty active in your office lately. Can we check it out?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of work, and I think you all are going to be surprised by what's in there. So let's head that way.
Hey, Elliott, you can join us if you want.
Oh, I'm coming. I have a peg leg, so it's taking a little longer.
So what do you all think? Look at how I changed this place up. It's like HGTV in here.
Wow.
Looks like Joanna Gaines vomited in here.
Yeah, I mean, the shiplap. You've got a nice leather chair over there. It looks like
Josh, where'd you get this money?
That's
Is that an
pleather.
antique?
Well, yeah. Don't worry. I didn't
nice.
spend a dime on this. I got a real good deal from a friend I met last week.
Wait,
Only way you're getting all this stuff is you do a deal with the devil. That's stupid. Come on.
how did you get this?
I told you I made a deal with a friend. It's not a big deal. Just look at this table. Look at this table. Look how good that composite wood is.
Some friend.
On that bookshelf, is that little gem?
No, that is a pentagram. Long story.
Did you?
Long story. Don't worry about it. Just come over here. Look at this desk. Also, beautiful composite wood.
Why is it bow in the middle? Did you get it wet?
No, it's mostly self-doubt, but just don't worry about it. Let me.
Sorry, guys. I just got here. The stairs were tough.
Yeah, I probably should have helped you.
No, it's okay.
Sorry about that, Elliot.
If Ryan had told us before you came that you had a peg leg, we would have figured this out and made it a little easier for
I'm
you.
installing
so I
that
apologize.
elevator next week.
Can I just take a seat on this table?
Good luck.
I wouldn't do that. No.
Oh my God.
Oh God. I'm so sorry. It's composite
Oh,
wood.
my other leg.
Look, let me help you up, Elliot. I'm so sorry.
Elliot, that peg leg, is that teak?
It's composite.
Oh, your peg leg's composite. So you have a MDF particle board peg leg wrapped in wood veneer.
Yes.
That's got to be rough to take care of.
Yeah, it's the best for peg legs. Don't you know anything about peg leg
The
construction?
good news is that listen, don't sue us. We'll make you broke the desk, so we can at least make another peg leg out of that. It'll be completely fine.
That's actually not a bad idea. It's also composite wood, so it'll be perfect. Then you can have two peg legs.
Well, on this note, if we do get sued, guys, I have some bad news. We don't have an ad this week.
So no difference from the past couple weeks.
But we do have our lovely guest from the Equity
true.
One podcast, so we will shout them out. So
How much are they going to pay us?
nothing. This was just a generous guest spot that we were able to get from Elliott, but cross promotion.
You're lucky I'm not taking you for all your
it'll
worth
work out,
with this
right?
table that broke underneath me.
You did that. That was literally all I owned.
He has a good point. How about this, Elliott? As compensation, we will go back up the stairs. I will help you, but we will allow you to make the final decision who has the worst musical. How
I
does that
suppose
sound?
that'll do.
In compensation for your leg, you can say some words on our podcast.
It only seems fair.
It only seems fair. Josh, once again, we are
I'll
still
try.
disappointed. So
I'll fix it. I'll try again next time.
I hope this friend you made a deal with, he can't. There's no way he could be a true friend.
Also, that pentagram looks like it's smoking. So
yeah,
please
why don't you
check
all run
on that.
along and I'll put that out.
Okay, thanks. And saying run to Elliott right now is really insensitive. So I'm gonna go piggyback here. Here, ready?
Thanks for the help, Brian.
Okay, just no problem. That was a lot of stairs. All right, well, I think you guys have some final points you want to present. Just be aware, you are now trying to convince Elliott what is the worst musical adaptation. I think we ended with Josh, so we're going to start with Josh now, and then Joe can close us out. So, Josh, take us away. Whisk us away in your fantastical Broadway adventure.
Yeah, let me paint you a word picture of this beautiful, beautiful performance that I'm putting together. So really the crux of my argument, as I've said, is it comes down to the sheer cost of this show. So from the music to the cast I've already mentioned, it's already pretty expensive. But now I'm going to take that and I'm going to add just a pile of cash on top of it. Because to fill out our cast, I thought we certainly have to have someone in the Laura Dern role. She is much too big for this show now, even at her she could certainly do it, but she's just got too much going on.
She's a legend. She's got too much to do.
Legend. So
yeah, you could definitely say that since Jurassic Park, it's her and Jeff Goldblum, but in kind of different directions.
So I needed to find someone who was young, cool, like seemed like absolutely awesome, relatable, like truly a Laura Dern type. So I went with Philippa Sue of Hamilton fame.
Ooh.
Now, Josh Gad, Philippa Sue, and Jeff Goldblum himself. As if that wasn't expensive enough, I needed a great Hammond, the old man that runs the show. And so I was trying to think of someone who has Broadway experience, who is famous, and who can pull off just an absolutely killer beard. And that is Nathan Lane, the legend himself.
Wow.
Oh,
now
Nathan Lane as Hammond is interesting.
You may be asking, how are we going to afford all this? And the answer is we can't. So I'm already setting us up for failure. But we've got an incredible cast. At least draw people in for a week before they find out it's absolute trash.
Oh, I love Nathan Lane.
Me too. It's a shame he's in the show.
This would be career suicide.
Just truly awful.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So, he can spin hay into gold, or whatever, Rumpelstiltskin did.
That's true. You have a star like him across from Josh Gad. I mean,
is it too funny?
You might have Broadway gold right there.
It might be too good.
Yeah.
Is it too
but
good?
Here's where we solve a lot of our casting issues, which is people are going to get hurt. And that is where the set design comes in. Now,
yes.
The great thing about the show is, from a cost perspective, I suppose you could say it's not a lot of sets. I mean, you've got to have your outdoor scenes. So I'm thinking, lots of foliage, lots of, ornate trees, large set pieces. Yeah,
and a lot of that
you have
can
a
be
backdrop, probably a big video screen backdrop, so we can have some dinosaurs prancing around in the back.
Of course.
Not a big deal. Sure. We got to have a laboratory setting where we have a lot of the plot taking place.
Definitely.
And then we've got to have an interior kitchen set for the Velociraptor scene.
I was going to say the kitchen scene is too iconic.
So really, those set pieces aren't going to be that bad. But where we get into a lot of the cost is we got to have dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs?
And we can't just have, dinosaurs on the screen or like a head popping, and we got to have a full big ass dinosaur on this stage. Now, there's already a Jurassic Park Arena show that has animatronic dinosaurs that walk around throughout an arena. Now, we are in a smaller location, but I don't want to downsize these T-Rexes. I need the full thing. So we're going to have a big ass animatronic T-Rex interacting with live actors on this stage. There are going to be stunts. There are going to be people getting swatted by this thing. It's going to be dangerous. Same with Velociraptors.
And if you're true to the film, flares on stage.
Flares. We're going to have pyrotechnics. We're going to have a Jeep chase scene that's just going to be all over the place. And possibly the most dangerous part, we're going to have a man get killed in a bathroom. It's going to be just perfection.
But on
chopped
the
in half.
toilet.
Yeah, you're going to need a porta potty that is able to be eaten by this animatronic.
That's bound to go wrong at least
T-Rex.
once. So Josh Gad's out of the show. I mean, I hate to do it because I love Josh Gad, but it's going to happen.
Well, we must protect him at all costs.
Yep.
We should.
I was going to say, and plus, if we make him try to get in that Jeep on stage, he's out. He's going to be asking for insurance out the butt.
That's the other thing. Our insurance costs skyrocketing. So we've got these animatronic dinosaurs. We've got these sets. And then it comes down to the songs, which we talked about. So we've already spent a chunk of money on that. But it's even worse that they're bad. So we have DNA. We have big pile of shit. And then perhaps at the crux of the play, when it should be the most inspiring moment, instead of just choosing to play the John Williams score as they enter Jurassic Park, they decide to add some lyrics to it. And the lyrics aren't even good. It's literally just like, there's a dinosaur walking across the plains in the grass and trees. There's velociraptors in the hiding. They're going to eat you. They could have just not done that. Yeah, they could have just not done that. But they gave away the plot at the beginning.
Wow.
And they made a terrible song. Like,
they really made some
imagine the
mistakes.
majesty of these dinosaurs walking across the screen in the back. You get a couple come on stage and you're like, this is beautiful. And then they start in with that crap. Like, no, I'm walking out immediately and demanding a refund. They have ruined my play. I came to see Jeff Goldblum. I won't stand for this.
Especially when they have Nathan Lane singing those lyrics. I mean, in the helicopter.
Oh, we didn't
what are
even
you
talk
gonna do?
about the helicopter.
Well, it's been done.
We
Helicopters on stage.
Not like this. This thing's gonna blow
True.
up.
Also not well.
It's
That
pure
sounds
danger.
pretty bad.
That sounds bad.
All right.
It truly, they took what should be a golden egg, a beautiful, beautiful show, a known property, and they just turned it into a big pile of shit.
Nice.
I think I don't know how we avoid that as the episode title.
You can do anything. It's the
Listen, I'm
internet. We're getting real.
I'm just gonna call this one
right.
Nathan Lane's in it,
That's
and
right.
people will tune in.
I'll buy a ticket.
Excellent. All right, Joe. Can you land this plane?
So there's a couple things that I just think would make Con Air on Broadway just terrible. You talked about casting first off. I've had some ideas for casting. We brought up Dave Chappelle. First thing I think we do is we replace Pinball as Dave Chappelle's Pinball with Kevin Hart as Pinball.
What? Known Broadway star Kevin Hart.
Nick Cage, Cameron Poe's character, is going to be cast by Tom Hardy.
What?
And John Cuse.
Is he a stage
I thought
actor?
he was in London before he
Like he
came to the
is.
States.
Everyone likes
maybe.
to. Everyone likes to give it a shot.
And then John
Sure.
Cusack's character,
That's true.
you go with Jimmy Fallon.
No. Hey, listen.
Now, wait, but
my
you guys
gosh.
remember, this is supposed to be bad.
This is supposed to be bad, but not illogical.
It's not
Joe,
illogical. Jimmy Fallon
he has
likes
a
to sing a
job.
lot.
He has a job like 250 days a year.
Well, you know what?
Already.
He decided that his passion, he's always had a dream to be on Broadway and wants to
Yes.
pursue it.
Yeah, he left
He
that
has.
cool $20 million a year
Yep.
from NBC.
Listen, you want to hire Jeff Goldblum, and he does those
go work 8 shows a
apartments.com
week.
commercials or rent.com
Which
commercials.
are
He can't afford to
amazing.
give those up. Yeah. So you're changing people away from have jobs. I don't want to hear that crap.
Look, he's
Okay.
gonna be lucky to work after coronavirus. All right, we all are.
That's right.
Jimmy Fallon's not going to turn down anything.
That's right.
But
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Tonight Show's going under.
So there's a few of my casting choices. There's a lot more that I've toyed with, but I focused on why Con Air would fail is because of the set.
Okay.
Tell us more.
Now, Con Air takes place on a plane, but there's so much more to it. I think I have 9 different set pieces that are all large.
Fantastic.
The majority of them are very large. So the beginning is going to start with 3 small set pieces. Nick Cage's character comes home from serving, I think, in the like the Desert Storm War, stuff like that, in the early 90s. And he is an Army Ranger. He comes home to his hummingbird, Trisha. She works at an oyster bar in Deep, Alabama. And I guess while she's been there, there's a local drunk that's been harassing her. And he gets into it with Nick Cage. Him and his buddies end up attacking Nick Cage on the way out of the bar that night. And because of Nick's expert training, Cameron Poe's expert training, he actually delivers a fatal blow to the main drunk, killing him on the sidewalk. The judge decides that because his lawyer tells him to plead guilty, so he does, but his judge says because of his training, he doesn't go by the same law as everybody else. So he puts him in for 8 years.
That's right.
The second set piece is Cameron Poe's character in a prison cell. You got to forward the story here. You find out that somehow, amazingly, he comes home from war, but his wife is 4 months pregnant when he comes home and gives birth to a child while he's in prison. How'd she get pregnant? That's a major plot hole that I still want questions for. It's not his baby. But the whole time he's writing letters to home, he is working out like a madman, doing pull-ups, yoga, just push-ups, everything. He's jacked. He's huge.
Those were all the exercises you could name, right?
Well, he doesn't have weights. He's got to do body weight. He does
Relatable.
handstand push-ups.
Checkmate. Yeah. I was going to say we're all doing that
He
right
meets
now.
a guy named Baby-O, becomes your good friends. But the main thing is you have him doing voiceover or in song, writing letters to his wife and then his daughter, talking about how he's going to get home.
Elliott, for me, I'm picturing the Joseph in the cell.
Sure.
You know,
Close
what's the song
every
there?
door.
What-
I also immediately
Close
thought of
Every
like
Door.
Dear Theodosia from Hamilton, just like very like letter songs.
Yes, letter songs. That is so. Whether you knew it or not, Joe,
Joe knows what he's
you are
talking about.
You are really writing a
The
musical.
third small set piece is when they get on the plane. You're in a bus, a plane. You meet a lot of the characters. You meet Cyrus, you meet Nate, you meet Pinball, you meet Billy Bedlam, but you also meet the cops. There's a DEA agent that's being snuck on the flight to talk to someone who's a South Colombian drug kingpin. He gets a gun. He started the problem that caused it. You also find out that Baby-O is a diabetic, which is probably one of the main reasons that Cameron Poe's character stays on the plane, because he wasn't given his insulin. He's trying to save his friend and a female guard that's getting attacked. So those three things are not huge pivotal thing, but they move the story along. They set the story up. Without them, you have nothing. Now we're going to get into some very, very large set pieces. Now, the main part of the second act of the movie middle of the second act takes place on the plane, Jailbird. It's a C-130, two big twin propeller jets, 2 stories. There's a main level where all the prisoners are located, and then there's a cargo area underneath. The prisoners escape they have pins in their hands. They take over the guards. They kill a few of them. They destroy the insulin that's on the plane, except for one vial, but they destroy all the needles. And they're going to an airfield. Now, this is where the This Is Con Air song would come into play.
Mhm,
This is the
of course.
point where the put down the teddy bear would come into play. They get in a fight under the plane. He finds out that he's actually paroled. So you have a very large set piece with a very, very large plane that you need to be able to show the cockpit. You need to be able to show the main cargo. You need to be showing the cargo area, the main carrier. There has to be cages on the plane. They end up land at Carson City, Nevada. They send off a few people, take on a few more soldiers. That's where Pinball ultimately dies. He gets locked in landing gear and knocked out of the sky, falls from the sky into another car, and he writes a note on him.
Yikes.
That's the one. That's another one. The other one is they're going to the second act. The second act's the big one. They're going to a place called Lerner Airfield. It's an abandoned airstrip that's also a junkyard. They crash land the plane here. They have to dig the plane out of the dirt. There is a long channel of junk cars that the marshals get alerted that the plane is taken over, that the convicts set up a kill box for. So not only do you have to have a landing strip, a landing field, you have to have the plane, but you also have the area where you have a shootout between the convicts and the National Guard and the U.S. Marshals on this place.
And we always know that guns and shootouts
Yes.
translate really well to
And
the
they
stage.
also have to dig the plane out while Nick Cage's character is simultaneously looking for a syringe and talking to the U.S. Marshal. They do eventually get the plane off the ground, only to be chased down by a couple of attack helicopters who shoot at them, mortally damaging the plane, and they are forced to make an emergency landing on the strip in Las Vegas. So you're going to have to build a set of Vegas Strip to land a C-130 huge plane in, while you take out the Hard Rock Casino guitar. You go through a pond in front of a casino and then crash land the plane into the casino.
Now, I would assume that you're not willing to compromise on like any kind of anything here. You want all that to be live action, full
Clever
set.
staging.
Well, I mean, no, it could be staged, but you got to be able to you got to have a way to tell the story. It's got to be there. You can't just be like, and then they crash on the.
That Hard Rock Cafe guitar
Yes.
has to be destroyed, Josh.
You can't
It's
just say,
vital.
and they crash into the Vegas Strip.
Listen, far be it for me to tell Joe what to do with his show.
That's a mess.
Now, there's one thing at the end. They get into a chase scene with a fire truck and a motorcycle. You can do without that. I think you can cut that out. Once Nick Cage's character and John Cusack's character catch all the bad guys, Cyrus and Nathan and Swamp Dog or Swamp Thing, whatever his name was, the lights go down on the stage. There's ambulances and fire trucks and police cars and plane carcasses and everything all around. And you just come in on Cameron Poe. He's tired. He's been shot. He's dirty. He's searching for his wife, who he's been told is there.
How do you do a zoom in on somebody's face on a Broadway play, Joe?
No. I said the lights come down and then
lights come down.
Lighting. Yeah.
Okay.
He described it.
Will you let me finish? I didn't say a word while you were going.
I'm with you, Joe. I'm transported right now.
All of a sudden, some music starts. It's quiet. And then if you look over stage left, another light forms, showing his wife and his daughter standing there. The music gets a little louder,
Beautiful.
a little louder, to which he starts singing. How do I live without you? I want to know. How do I breathe without you? If
Everybody.
you ever go, how do I ever survive? How do I? Oh, how do I? Oh, how do I live? Doom, 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 doom.
That
I've got
moment
tears.
just
As
transported
you know, this
me.
is Cameron Poe and Trisha Poe's song. So as they lovingly embrace and he meets his daughter for the first time and gives her the teddy bear, this song plays them out as they sing and embrace and the lights slowly dim out. Cut to black. Close the curtains.
Wow.
We're done.
Ending on a ballad. Bold.
Wow.
Okay.
That is bold.
I think Joe, I'm just going to go ahead and make an argument here, is that Joe misunderstood this whole prompt and made a wonderful musical.
Yeah.
The music may be great, but the production's going to be awful.
I don't know, Joe. I think Joe made a good musical and should be disqualified.
Joe,
But far be it for me to tell you what to.
Yeah,
I'm
Joe,
sorry,
I think
I
you've-
forgot to mention one thing. You mentioned money as a problem.
Mm-hmm.
The creators of this play decided to bring LeAnn Rimes in to personally sing the song for the entire run of the show.
That's so stupid.
Across the
Actually,
So,
live every
I don't know
time.
that she's got much going on, though.
is on to it. But you think she's cheap to come in and
I
sing
don't
this
know.
every night?
What if it was a LeAnn Rimes jukebox musical and the whole show was set?
Oh,
I wouldn't hate it.
now there's your draw.
Because-
There's your draw. That's how you bring the,
I will say,
the
you know,
people in.
there's been some good arguments here. You know, both shows are pretty terrible. I will say that what's really terrible about Joe's Con Air musical is, number one, the set, impossible to do. The finale ballad, awful.
Well, am I singing or the actual song?
All of it.
All of it.
Oh no, just the
Did
whole
you all hear
concept.
my voice cracking trying to hit those notes?
You were
It was hard.
emotional. You were emotional.
Oh, we heard it.
What I will say, what would get you done right away is you didn't recast any of those roles as women. You didn't put any female prisoners in. So an all male
true.
musical on Broadway
That's
in this
true.
climate,
There
it's
is
not going to happen.
one female guard in the show, so you could cast her. But I mean, I'll be honest. If you think it's an early '90s movie, there wasn't a lot of
I
females.
know,
in
but
it
that's
at the
what we're
time.
reinventing, right? So that's pretty terrible.
Listen,
but
yeah, it's a.
but I will say,
yeah,
I like
it's a
bringing in the
revival.
song.
It's a revival.
I like the idea of all of these. I do like the idea of like a fight musical. It's really exciting, and I've always wanted to see a musical that takes place on a plane work. You know, I always wanted it to be Airplane,
I don't know if
the
this will
musical,
work.
but
yeah,
I would see
Airplane
it.
the musical.
that would be amazing. But again, I don't know how to make it work. But maybe yours would be the first. Maybe it would be groundbreaking.
dream.
You know, Josh, you said a lot that was terrible, but you know, there's a lot there that has been made great in other musicals. You know, you look at The Lion King. How are you going to make animals, a show about only animals, work? Puppets, amazing. Julie Taymor, brilliant.
One of the most beautiful shows on Broadway.
We're not doing puppets. We're doing dangerous animatronics, mind you.
You know, you say you can't make a musical with an animatronic work, but they just did King Kong on Broadway as a musical with a huge animatronic Monkey. Now, was the musical good? No. But they did it.
Sounds like you're making my case for me.
And you're looking at, you're looking at Jurassic Park, which is
more
vastly more popular. Than
you could do
King
smaller
Kong. Yeah,
animals.
and honestly,
it's not just
smaller.
one big one. It's lots of them.
Yep.
We don't want to go smaller.
You say the music would be bad? Probably. And that's a problem too. So you guys are really making this a tough decision for me here with what I think is the worst musical. This is really hard. There are two terrible musicals in front of me, but only one can be the worst. God, this is hard. The musical that I have chosen is... Sorry, I'm really emotional. It's just hard to see, people's dreams. Everyone wants this. The musical that I've chosen is Con Air.
Oh man!
What do you all got now? Come on.
We stacked
He
the odds
still
against
did
him,
it.
and he still won. Elliott,
Still
why?
did it.
I have to say,
I'm so bad at singing.
the plot twist is that you think Jurassic Park would be a terrible musical, but lo and behold, someone beat you to it. There is a Jurassic Park parody musical called Triassic Park with a Q. And it's told from the dinosaurs' perspectives, and it was a big
Oh my God.
It was a big success off Broadway. So unfortunately, someone
Wow, Josh.
proved you wrong in real life. So
Shame.
I think this might prove that we really have to end the show. Joe can beat us in any
Even one he's not
realm.
familiar with.
We thought musical theater was going to be the downfall, but Joe comes in with Con Air and knocks it out of the park.
I was legitimately nervous when he was talking. That I was like, God, this is the most nervous I've been about winning because I really worked hard on researching this because I have no idea. None.
I call shenanigans. Does anybody else see the poster on Elliott's wall of Nick Cage in Con Air?
Oh, I'm sorry. You guys are cutting out. You're cutting out. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, Elliott, it has been an honor to have you as our very first guest
Yes,
on
thank
Tell
you
Me
so
I'm
much for
Wrong.
coming on.
Thank you.
I would like to give you the platform.
Actually, hold on. No, thank you, because you let Joe win. I take it back.
Now, I play fair, okay?
I would
I'd
like
like
to
to point this out that I was picked by a third party, so that means that my Broadway show is just truly bad.
It was bad.
It's true.
Yeah, that was really bad.
Just move on. I can't anymore.
Elliott, I will give you the microphone for the next bit if you want to plug anything you would like to plug, especially your podcast, anything else.
Oh, thanks.
We're so glad to have you.
It's been real
Go ahead.
fun talking to you guys. My podcast is called Equity One, Broadway's Happy Hour. I sit with my best friend Caleb, and we drink with some of our favorite theater industry professionals and play games and have a grand old time. And you can find us on the Broadway Podcast Network. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and you can find us on Instagram at Equity One Podcast. And while you're giving Tell Me I'm Wrong a 5-star rating and review, you can give us one as well. You're there, so why not? And you can find me on social media on everything at Elliott Mattox. That's ELLIOTTMATTOX.
So many T's.
That was a great rhythm of the handles there. I think that's going to do it for us this week. Just thank you so much, Elliott, for coming and sitting with us for a while. I want to thank everybody for listening. As Elliott said, tell your friends about us. Tell your friends about Equity One. Go listen to some people who are on Broadway and have some excellent chats. I also want to thank Isle of 8 for the use of our theme song, Jean Jacket. You can check them out on Spotify, Apple Music, or anywhere you find great music.
Yeah, we bring this up every week, but please, you guys, if you can, go ahead and give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at TMIWPod. Also, be sure to use that hashtag TMIWPod. Tell me why I'm awesome and beat Josh again this week. What movie do you think would be a terrible Broadway play? There's a lot of them out there that would be great. And just as we go, can you guys, if you guys could please tell a friend, just one friend, if everyone told a friend, it would really help us out. Tell them to go on there, like, subscribe, and if you feel so led, give us a 5-star review. Tell us we're doing a good job. We'd really appreciate it. It just means a lot that you guys are listening.
And it makes a huge difference, that rating and review. You think it doesn't, but we podcasters know.
Helps a lot.
Helps a lot.
While you're doing all that and you're already online, you can head over to tmiwpod.com. Check us out there. We have got a way for you to sign up for our mailing list. You can find all of our social channels there. You can listen to the show. All that good stuff. We'll have some links to Equity One and everything that Elliott's doing, so you can find him there as well. And it'll be a great way for us to get everybody connected. So thanks again for listening. And Elliott, thanks, I guess.
Cheers.
Thanks so much, Elliott. We will hopefully have you on again at some point, or maybe we'll come on and talk about how we don't know anything about Broadway on your podcast, but that might not make any sense.
You'll have Joe on when Con Air takes off big.
That's right. When Joe becomes the next big Broadway producer.
We will commit to you right now.
Yeah, you'll have the rights.
I won't forget
the
about
little
you.
people.
May have to change our sign off to just saying, instead of one winner, there's Joe and then we're all losers.
I think that's for the best right now.
So right now there's one winner, Joe, but we're all losers. Later, losers.
See ya.
Put down that teddy bear.